Sean McDaniel, Oklahoma City Public Schools Superintendent, announced back in November a plan called Pathway to Greatness, and you've chatted with us a couple times in the meantime.
Right.
Mr. McDaniel joins us here in the Oklahoman's video studio. Good to see you again, sir.
It's good to see you, Dave. I'm glad to be here and excited about our process.
I think I said McDaniel's off the top. It's just one.
It's just
McDaniel,
one.
Sean McDaniel. It's good to see you, though. 8 months?
8 months in the saddle. It seems like just yesterday we were sitting here talking about progress and growing pains and opportunities. So yeah, 8 months. Can you believe that?
Are you enjoying it?
I am absolutely loving it. I still look forward every day, honestly, to get into my car and get to work. I love the people I work with. I love the work that we're doing. It's very meaningful work. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Well, it's important work. This Pathway to Greatness. If you want to set that up for us again, just in case someone's watching this who may not be totally aware of it.
Sure. So Pathway to Greatness is our reinvention campaign. We know that the way we're doing education in Oklahoma City Public Schools is not acceptable. We are falling short of expectations that we think our families should have and do have. And so P2G, as we call it, is that evaluation of everything from our facilities to our programming to are we equitably distributing resources? Do our kids have opportunities regardless of where they live in the city? And so it's a complete, comprehensive evaluation of how we do school that will result in opportunities, that will result in, kind of on the downside, it will result in some school closures, some reconfiguration of schools, meaning right now it may be an elementary, next year it may be a middle school. So there's some pain involved, but we know that with progress, with growth, there's going to be some pain.
You've had a couple public meetings along the way, correct?
We have. We've had multiple informal meetings where I've just gone into communities, invited them to my office. Everything from living rooms to HOA meetings to civic groups, but we've also had formal community engagements where we go around the city to different high schools, and we've invited the community to come in and give us their input. So we're trying to be transparent, but also we're trying to provide opportunities for our community to give us input.
And so the next turn of the crank, this is Friday, January 18th, as we have this conversation, just a few days, Tuesday night, January 22nd. I expect you're going to present some options to the school board.
That's correct. So on the 22nd at 5:30 at Northeast Academy, which is where we have our school board meetings in the auditorium, we will have narrowed down to 3 viable pathways, A, B, C, if you will. And each pathway presents to our community and to our board, certainly, how we might deliver education differently beginning in the fall in August. And so it will contain a list of school closures, that some of them that we will then repurpose for other community opportunities. It will include lists of schools that we will transform from elementary to middle. It will include lists of trade-ups. So another way to put that is, what are the things, the opportunities that we're going to guarantee or commit to each of our schools? So it's going to be pretty comprehensive, and we're really, really excited about it. Again, we know that there's going to be some challenge, some emotion, and some pain involved, but we're really excited about what we believe the outcome will be.
Oklahoma City Public Schools released this video last week, or perhaps earlier this week, to kind of promote or underscore what you're talking about here. What are we looking at here?
Well, this is just our way to graphically represent what we've been talking about. We've been talking a lot about equity and opportunity. On the back side of that, we've talked about efficiency. So depending on where you live right now in our district as a family or as a student, you may or may not have opportunities that other kids do have. And we don't think that's right. We think that we should be able to afford all of our families and all of our students similar opportunities. So what this represents are everything from the trade-ups to kind of the pluses. Here's what I don't have now, but here's what we can commit as a district that you will have in the outcome. So an example of that would be, right now 33% of our elementary schools have a full-time art, music, and PE teacher, those 3 things. Only 1 of 3. So one of the outcomes of this process is we will guarantee that every elementary school has a full-time art, music and PE teacher. We know the benefit of those specials type
How do you make
classes.
that happen?
It's a great question. One is through the efficiency. We know that when we close a school, that we have banked money, so operational dollars, utility expenses that we do not have to pay anymore. So that goes into a bank that we call a reinvestment bank. That then is returned back to the kids, and we can then hire additional teachers. We can expand programming, and those things that do not exist right now in schools, we are committing they will exist as we move forward.
Well, let me ask you some details of
Okay.
these path A, B, and C.
Right.
There's 88 schools, is that correct?
We have 86, including all of our
86.
charter partners.
How
Correct.
many schools are on the chopping block here?
You know, it ranges depending, and just to back up a little bit, we have not finalized this yet. So what we have now is not the final version of what we will roll out on Tuesday night. So all of those questions will be answered on Tuesday night, but I can give you a range. I mean, we're looking at anywhere from 14 schools that have kids going to school right now, that those kids will be distributed. So 14 closures. Many of those closures will be then repurposed into after-school programming. City, county health has said we'd like to come in and operate a couple of the schools. We have our birth to 3-year-old program, the Head Start program, and their partners who have said we would like to be considered for taking over some of the space. So 14 on the low end, up to as many as 20 schools that will actually close, and then many of those be repurposed. So I think there's a distinction there. Closure to us, just pure closure, means we're going to shut it down. There is no purpose for that building. We're going to fence it and then make a decision about selling it or demoing it. We're really talking more about temporarily closing it and redistributing those kids, but then reopening very quickly into one of these other opportunities.
Might a charter school be looking at some of these buildings or facilities?
We have evaluated all of our schools, including our charter schools. So we're not at that point where we're saying let's take on a bunch of new charter schools, but we are wanting to be very sensitive to our existing charter schools. So in an evaluation where we say this particular building is not suitable for kids, ADG, our partner, comes in and evaluates and says, you got a lot of issues in this building. We're talking about relocating our partner charter schools, not, hey, let's open our closed buildings up to any charter school that wants to come into the district. So right now it's a matter of relocation, whether it's an existing traditional school and we redistribute those kids. Let's take that open building and say, here's a charter school building that may not be suitable, let's relocate them. That's more of what we're talking about.
So let's keep going on the narrative here. Tuesday night, what happens? You're presenting A, B, and C.
Sure, and it is really a work session, so it's not a typical regular school board meeting. It's a work session, so our board will be configured around tables that are really lend themselves more to a work session. So it's a conversation. So I will stand up front, big screen, I'll present the A, B, and C pathways. I'll go through the full presentation, and then we will begin conversation with the board. What are the questions they have? What are the concerns they have? What are the suggestions they have? Just a typical work session setting, although this topic is a little different than other work session topics. I mean, this is game changer. This has the potential to redirect our direction from an academic standpoint, from an equity standpoint, and an overall success standpoint. So that's what will happen on Tuesday night. Presentation, work session, conversation with the board. My staff will be available to help answer questions. And really it's a time where we invite the community to come in and observe our work session. That typically doesn't happen. I mean, they're always invited, but we don't get much participation or much inclusion with the community. So here we're saying come and observe and see these three pathways. At the work session, there will not be a public comments section, which there never is in a work session in our district. Those opportunities will begin the very next night, where we go back into the community at several of our high school auditoriums, and we're going to give the mic over to them, present, and then take their input.
So that next night, Wednesday night, I believe you have one at U.S. Grant.
U.S. Grant. The following night, Thursday night, it's back at U.S. Grant, and we'll do the whole presentation in Spanish for that community. We take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then we're back at it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week to Star Spencer, to Northwest Classen, and to Douglas.
And then beyond that, the final pathway is announced on February 19th?
February 19th, another work session. We will have narrowed it down to one. We will present that to our Board of Education and the community at large, and very excited about that. Then the vote will actually occur on March 4th.
Okay, so between now and, let's say, that vote, how does the community provide some feedback? I guess these community meetings would be one.
Community meetings would be one. We have a third round of community meetings following the 19th, so they get to come back after the one pathway is released. We have on our website an opportunity for feedback anytime. It's always open. It's a comments box. We will be providing, I know it's out there already, but on Tuesday night, the 22nd, we'll be on the big screen providing our board members' email addresses. We will show by district what schools are in each district, so that if I'm watching this and I don't get an opportunity to attend a community meeting, I can reach out directly to my board member, to the superintendent, with my concerns, questions, suggestions. So we're trying to give every possible opportunity to gain feedback as we continue the narrowing.
We're talking with Sean McDaniel. He's the superintendent at Oklahoma City Public Schools. And I have two questions for you on that word you just mentioned, feedback.
Okay.
So far, what has been the feedback to Pathway to Greatness? As we've gotten to, hey, A, B, and C, kind of starting to nail down some focus.
So it's general feedback right now because we haven't given the specifics. But, you know, again, very emotional. If I am speculating based on what I've seen, and I'm trying to put two and two together, I'm going to start thinking, well, my school is going to get closed. And so I reach out, and there's an emotional piece there.
Sure.
You know, my kids go there now. I went there. My parents went there. This is a generational neighborhood school. Please don't close my school.
It's that home away from home.
It is. It is. And in many cases, it's the hub of the entire neighborhood. So that has been some feedback we've received, is, you know, just getting us to consider what this school represents. By and large, the community has been very supportive of this. I think most people who have been around Oklahoma City for very long at all understand that we've got to do things differently. We have pockets of success around our school district, but I don't know that there are any measures out there that would say we are an excellent school district. And that's what we want to be, and that's what we believe we're going to get to through this process. So the community at large has said, hey, we're behind this, we support this. We may not agree with everything that's going to roll out, but we know we cannot continue business as usual. And so a lot of encouragement from the community.
One other feedback question for you. Our Tim Willer reported earlier this week, the school board approving that incentive program for principals, assistant principals. What's the response to that been so far?
It's been mixed, mostly very positive, but some curiosity, and it's an early retirement incentive. So what we're saying is we recognize that as we close schools, the one position that is really on our minds a lot is that of the head principal. The head principal, if you close a school, that position goes away. And so what we're saying to our head principals and assistant principals is we recognize that, we affirm and appreciate your service to the district, and so we want to give you an opportunity, if you qualify, to retire. And with that comes a monetary stipend. For head principals, it's $8,000. For an assistant principal, it's $5,000. And so in doing that, we identify who does not want to continue on this pathway.
Perhaps some are saying, hey, this is a good time for me to do something else.
Yes, this is a good time to really reflect on that. And that then shrinks the pool of candidates. And it helps us to know how many am I really dealing with as I begin filling slots with our redesigned school district.
A couple other questions for you. By the way, you can go online to okcps.org for more information. Also, Paige Dillard producing is all over this. Oklahoma has a new governor, Kevin Stitt. Is there anything on your legislative agenda or issues that you would like to see addressed at the state capitol?
Dave, we do not have enough time.
Dave, I was planning to get lunch today.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things that we're very interested in. Right now, we're very supportive of the governor and his platform and what we've heard so far with regard to comments. Top 10, we want to be a top 10 state, top 10 in education. Really interested to know what he means by that. And right now he's trying to figure out what we want. So our engagement has been good, our interaction has been good. That carries on into the legislature, and we're very hopeful. And I'm really pleased with the communication between our school district and our legislators. They're very open, very honest with us, and very approachable. And so I think right now we're really reviewing, we're trying to figure out what is our best avenue for input. But I'm really, really excited about our governor. I'm excited and hopeful that we can meet the challenge to become a top 10 state with regard to education in particular.
Have you met with him or any meetings on
Yeah,
that?
I've met him a couple different times. He is getting pulled in all directions right now. So
I'm sure you both are.
We are, but I'm looking forward to that opportunity that we can sit down and really visit about long-term stuff.
And yesterday, Mayor David Holt gave his first State of the City address. You were there.
Right.
And education was, of course, something that he mentioned. He floated the idea of an endowment as a long-term assist for
Right.
schools. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he's got some fantastic ideas with regard to just partnershiping, city, schools partnerships, and how can the city support us. I think everybody understands that as the schools get better, it is value add to the city. And so I love what I hear from him. I love his openness. The endowment idea is a fantastic idea because it is a long-term solution that is not totally dependent upon things like legislatures or property tax collections or those types of things. It is a long-term strategy to support public schools. How can you not love that? So we were really excited to hear that.
All right, very good. This is a conversation that could go on for a long
Good.
time, lots of details, but I'll let you go with that. He's Sean McDaniel, Superintendent, Oklahoma City Public Schools. Again, you can go to that website, okcps.org/pathway project for more on the pathway to greatness. Plenty more coverage from my colleague Tim Willett can be found in the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com. Mr. McDaniel, as always, good to see you. Thank
Good
you
to
for
see
your
you.
time.
Thank you.